It's about to go down. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are recording this live. It's on Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's to everyone out there. I just celebrated my 19-year anniversary with my incredible wife, Angie. And one thing that I always say, the only reason why we know love is because we once experienced hate. And at the end of the day, love is all that is all that was, and all there will always ever be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Carlos Inspire Show. And today, my friends, I have a powerful, a lioness, a powerhouse coming on the show, and we're going to have a great time. Fear is either your prison or your passport. It's your choice. But today, my friends, we are about to crack the code on how you can flip fear on its head and use it to create the life you always wanted. Today, I want to bring on the stage an inspirational speaker, a court-certified Spanish interpreter, a voiceover artist, actor, yoga instructor, and author, a powerhouse helping so many people on the stage, Janice Burt. What's up, sister?
Hey, Carlos. It is so good to just literally be in your presence again. Like hearing you talking, that opening intro, I'm like, now I remember why this guy, I love this guy. Everything about how you show up in the world is such an inspiration to me. So I am thrilled to be here with you. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Oh, wow.
There you are.
I think my team or the ghost muted myself. That's the first time in history, and we are not going to edit it. You guys know how I roll, guys. No, but thank you so much, Janice, for the kind words. I mean, you know how I am. I show up. Whatever I do in life, it's no expectations. I trade everything for appreciation. Every time, I mean, you and I met at events, speaking on stages together at many events, and just like I do it, I'm on the backstage. I'm praying. I'm meditating. How can I serve? I'm not here like in the backstage, like trying to sell people or looking at people as numbers. I don't care if there's 100 people or 10,000 people in the stadium or in a hotel. It's how we show up. I'm here to serve, to add value, to have an incredible time together. And it's the same way how we show here on the podcast. I always love to be playful, to elevate, and to give credit when credit is due. And you are doing amazing out there. And I am so honored that we're going to record something today that's going to be here for a lifetime, that long after you and I are gone, people can listen to because they know you and I are going to bring it. And it's about to go down. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Guys, as you guys are listening, you guys know how I am. Drop your questions below. I know some of you guys can be here live with us. I already see a bunch of you guys coming in. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Drop your questions. Don't be shy. And for you guys listening, follow us. Janice Burt and Carlos Cicada on LinkedIn. There'll be links underneath that you guys can check. Whatever you are, Facebook, X, on LinkedIn. And this show is free. CarlosInspireShow.com. Go on Apple and drop us a review. Every review count. You guys know how we roll. Every money that we raise on social media, we give back. We handle cash to people on the streets. We're helping veterans that are struggling. You guys know how it is. Many governments out there are corrupt. So we want to continue elevating the bar at every single thing that we do, from our teachings to the content that we put out. And ladies and gentlemen, today in the house, Janice Burt. And Janice, most people, they let fear control them. But you turned that into your superpower. What was the first fear you ever walked through that changed your entire life?
Oh my goodness. Actually, that's so interesting. I don't know that this changed my entire life, but it's the first real fear that I remember was freshman year of high school, starting in at a new school. And I really wanted to play a sport, but my parents didn't have a lot of money, so we just weren't involved in a lot of those extracurricular activities. But I saw that there was a volleyball tryout, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to show up. And I'm terrified because I've never touched a volleyball. I don't know the rules of the game. I don't know how to play volleyball. But I just know intuitively I'm athletic. I love sports. I love just everything that that's about. And I thought, I'm just going to show up and see what happens. And so having that memory and being terrified to show up for a sport that I didn't even know how to play is probably one of the first fears that I actively remember going like, I'm making a choice and I'm going to do this even though I'm terrified.
Wow, no, I love that. I love that. Some of you guys know my wife comes from some very humble beginnings too, and she always loved running it. But her mom came here from Mexico and my wife was she was pregnant with my wife, and then my wife ended up boarding her, and then they were very poor, and she loved running. She was fast, but she couldn't afford the shoes, or my mom couldn't take her to the training show. She figured it out a way, just running with some beat up shoes that has nothing to do with running and outdoing the runners. So as you talk about that story, it kind of gave me some memories that when you love something, when you are passionate about something, there is nothing that can stop us. It's just like whenever
Amen.
yeah, what I mean? We just got to believe in ourselves. I mean, just a little bit more. Some of you guys listening to us, listen to Janice's stories, into the things that she teach. It's the little stuff, guys. Sometimes we don't have anybody, we cannot afford a coach, or there is no spouse and nobody, you by yourself. But just know that in those moments, like I always say, right, that breaks us are truly the moments that makes us. It's like finding that shoe, finding your way to that volleyball practice, whatever sport you like, you know. And no, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. As I always love to say, like courage isn't the absence of fear; it's taking action in spite of it. Let that sink in for a minute, guys, and actually write that one down, because writing is the doing part of thinking. You guys know Professor Carlos. And Janice, what's the biggest misconception people have about fear? And why do they stay trapped in it? I've seen that a lot, especially since COVID. As you and I know, mental health is at all-time highs. And I think so many people out there that we can help, but you are very experienced at this. That's happens with some of your superpowers. What is your take on that about the biggest misconception about fear, and why do people stay trapped in it for so long?
I think people stay trapped in it because it's comfortable. It's like this uncomfortable comfort in a sense. I can't actually speak for everybody and why they stay stuck in fear, but I can tell you my own personal experience is it did feel like a prison. I felt like I wished a lot of things were different. I was arguing with reality. I wasn't accepting what was. And so there was this resistance within me. Like, no, it's supposed to be this way. It's supposed to be this way. So I'm fighting. I'm fighting. I don't want to do the hard work. I don't want to sit with my pain. I don't want to actually dive deep into everything that's going on with me, into my emotional wounds, into why I show up in the world a certain way. And so in those moments, we feel like, oh, this is better. This is safer. I'm more comfortable. And it's also death. It's like a living kind of death. It's you're trapped, you're stuck, you feel paralyzed, you feel debilitated, you feel unempowered, all of those things. So the best thing that I could say for somebody that feels stuck and trapped in a prison of fear right now is that I see you, I feel you, I've been there, I know that prison, I know it well, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that your best life, freedom, joy, peace, impact, all of that lies right on the other side of, like Carlos, you said, taking action and doing those things that we are terrified to do, that we intuitively know are holding us back from our best life.
To church, sister, on a Friday. Let's go. You're getting me fired up over here. It brings me back in time. As you're talking about the fear, just I remember like as a kid selling bread and being robbed. So all fired up, sold the bread, and I'm happy coming home, 7, 8 years old, and my mom's gonna be so happy because I sold everything. And here we go. The bicycle beat up and the empty basket in the tied into my bicycle and gun on my face. What is the money? And I'm like, damn. Just you work so hard. You want to take your mother. Her and I were being abused mentally and physically, and I just want to take her out of there, out of the hood, out of the streets, out of the barrios, and it sucked. I could be like, okay, I'm not gonna go back to work the next day. I'm a kid, so it's like, but they didn't know how hungry I was. Ain't no demon, ain't no robber or piece of crap that's gonna stop me from going, and I just kept it going. I just kept it going, and then I learned how to get robbed. Talk about this story quite a few times on the stages. Learn how to get robbed. Learn how to deal with your fears. Learn how to look the demons in the eyes. You guys heard the saying. A lot of speakers and people use that on social media. Bet you they stolen from the Bible. You can now withstand the storm. I am the storm. God damn it! you know. But at the end of the day, fear is a story, guys. Just like Janice said, you guys see how passionate emotionally she is, and as she's teaching us here today and answering those questions. But at the end of the day, fear is a story. The question is, are you the author or just a character in someone else's script? Let that sink in for them. But Janice, your ACA formula, awareness, choice, and action, is a game changer. Can you break it down for us and show how anyone can implement it today?
Yes, it's very simple. A lot of times, the most simple things in our life are actually not the easiest because we have to, again, choose to show up and do the thing. So, ACA just stands for awareness, choice, and action. Nothing happens without awareness. If we don't know what we don't know, we can't change anything or fix anything or solve anything. So the very first step is cultivating, kind of developing this awareness. And for me, a lot of that happened through therapy. And let me tell you, Carlos, I think I've done pretty much every type of therapy that exists out there, like cognitive behavioral.
Drop it in other live folks if that's been you. Don't be shy, guys. It's okay. Even if you're on LinkedIn, I know y'all want to act professional, but it's all good. Drop it in below if you guys been it. It's nothing wrong going to therapy. But I want you guys to let us know. But continue, my sister.
No, it was such a life changer for me to be able to talk things out loud. Not only that, what really helped me was hypnotherapy and neurofeedback. Actually, EMDR was great. Like, they're all great. I just was going, okay, I'm in so much emotional pain. What can I do? I even went on Groupon, and my first hypnotherapy session was a Groupon because that's how I roll. I'm frugal. We're going to save those pennies.
Shout out to Groupon. I should make them the sponsor of the show, guys. You guys, I'm always looking for great sponsors. Groupon, listen up, baby. I love it. I love Groupon deals. Let me know if you guys ever use a little Groupon. Type in below Groupon, baby. Let's start it up.
Well, hey, if you're unsure about something, the best way to try it out is that way, because you don't put a lot down and you can see if it's something that vibes. But I went to my first hypnotherapy session, and it's where they put you in a very deep kind of meditative, relaxed state, and went into my subconscious. So I'm totally alert and aware. I know exactly what's going on. It's not like somebody's doing anything to you. And I saw for the first time the fear, that my entire being was full of fear. And that was my awareness. That's where I said, holy crap, I didn't know that most of the decisions that I'm making in my life are dictated by fear. But that session showed me that. And so I thought, well, man, what do I do with all this fear? And I knew that I needed to face it, that I needed to walk through it, and that I needed to replace it with something else. And that began my one fear per year journey, where that was about 12, 13 years ago. And every year I've tackled a pretty big size fear in my own life.
Wow, I love that. As I have a great question for you about that one fear for you here in a second. You know me, guys, I love dig deep into all my guests, and those are people that I know for a long time and been on the stages with. And now it's interesting. It's such an interesting point. I often talk about that most people they are stuck in awareness and they never move into action, right? That fear they lives in hesitation and guys, it doesn't take much. Sometimes all it takes is reach out to Janice, reach out to somebody, reach out to me, reach out to anybody. If you don't like us, if you don't like our makeup, how we talk, just reach out to somebody that you can relate to. They have the experience, they have done it, they have overcome it. And reach out to them because they can offer you things like, Janice, she was walking the talk, right? She had to feel, and then you guys see in her voice, I feel like I was there with her. I could feel the fear and experience. And I bet you some of you guys were probably, as you guys were hearing us talking here, I bet you start feeling some of your own fears. See, that's the awareness. But a lot of people, they stay in that mode. Oh, wow, I'm aware. Here's some of the fears. There's only so many fears and things that disturbed us throughout the day, right? And then as you start being aware of what those things are, but a lot of people, they stay there. And then they, like Janice says, starts controlling your entire life and dictating every decision that you guys are making, like she said, right? And that's why it's important to reach out to someone like Janice, have a talk, have a conversation, talk about it, ask questions. How do you do it? Are you taking clients? Can you help me out to talk to her, right? It's like, that's the first step. It just is making that move. It doesn't matter who it is, talking to somebody in your city, in your town. There are many hotlines out there that you can call 800 numbers. And just by talking, like we're doing here, we're just on an interview like this, right? It's just by talking, expressing, putting it out there. And then if you want to take it to another level, have somebody hold you accountable there. You're destroying that one fear per year, which is my next question for you, my friend. One fear per year. Such a powerful concept. I love that. When I was, doing some research and look at everything that you have, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So what was the most terrifying challenge you take on, and what did that teach you, Janice?
Ooh, every year has been terrifying. I will tell you that. But I will say the most terrifying, there were two. It was between the bodybuilding competition that I did and when I self-published my memoir.
Mm.
So for two very different reasons why they were each difficult, but the bodybuilding one was probably the deepest fear, actual fear, because there were a lot of internal narratives with that, a lot of body image issues that I've carried. I have a lot of comparison issues, things to do with appearance, things to do with not feeling good enough that way, like in my own skin. And this is, I was 42 years old. I have two kids, so I have stretch marks and all the fun things that come along with that. And I was in a spin class one day and the instructor said, "Oh, I'm training for a bodybuilding competition." And when she said that, the voice in my head was like, "That sounds like the most terrifying thing ever. I'm going to do that. I need to do that. I have to sign up for one of those."
I love it.
Yep. And so when you're standing on a stage wearing high heels and a sequins bikini next to 20-year-old women, and men are judging you, which is also a big fear of mine, what number are they going to give me? Because you're actually being judged and rated and scrutinized. So some of my deepest fears. And after I did that, even though in the moment it was very terrifying, I felt so damn proud of myself. Like, holy, if I know the fear and all of the beliefs and things that needed to be constantly reshuffled and, go back to my mindset and why am I here? Oh, it's not anything about the bodybuilding competition. This is about walking through fear. This is about building my courage muscle so that when it really counts, I'm ready. I've been going to the gym for this, man. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. You see, guys, you guys know I mentored a lot of women out there, right, in speaking, in marketing, branding, and I own a bunch of insurance companies and hedge funds throughout the country. And to all the women listening to me, listen up. Imagine you on that stage right now on a bikini and you're in your 40s and you have all these 20-year-olds next to you and a bunch of men, like let's put them, make them dressed as gladiators, now judging you and numbering you, just imagine. As you were talking about, I was like imagining. I was like, wow, I love it. And you know what? I love it because you say, I needed to do this. For some of you guys looking and listening for a sign, look what Janice did. She said, that scared the crap out of her. Just by me telling you guys to imagine, you being on that stage, you're like, hell no. I already see what you guys are talking about in your own head at home and listening to me, commuting to work or on your treadmill, right? We release an episode when? Every Monday, 5:07 a.m. at CarlosInspiredShow.com. So whether you are listening to me later on the replay, on your treadmill, on your commuting to work, I bet you are imagining, that stage. But again, it doesn't have to be there for you. But what is that thing that you guys listening to us fear the most? What is that one thing that terrified you? I didn't like the nights when I was a kid because I would hear my mother being abused next door. My stepfather would step out of their room like for days and disappear. My mother would wipe the tears out of her eyes like everything was okay. My worst fear, I was going to take on my own life as a kid. But God spoke it to me and he said, hey, kid, your future doesn't have to equal your past unless you carry on the stories with you. Who said, dear brother Carlos, your fear doesn't have to equal your past unless you carry on the stories with you. I really want you guys to listen to what Janice just said over here. She heard that person and she said, I got to do this. For a lot of women out there, you guys know me, I was raised by women and I mentored a lot of women in my lifetime. And I know what you guys go through. In some countries and cultures, some of you guys just stay married with an abusive man because of religion. I don't know who created these rules. I'm not even going to go there. But whatever that fear is, maybe it is to drop in that piece of shit that's abusing you. Maybe it is moving to the next town. Maybe it is reaching out to Janice and say, hey, Janice, how did you do it? Could you walk me through it? I need to step into my power and break this fear. Whatever it is, every time that you see something that you fear, something that you doubt, when you doubt something from now on, if it's related to your fears, I want you to doubt your own doubt. Somebody drop an amen over here today.
Amen.
I have somebody over here. Faye, shout out to Faye. Loving this podcast. I had the hypnotherapy. One session was the biggest storm I ever saw. Water pounding against the rocks. I love it. Faye, my friend. Faye's in her 80s. Incredible woman. I love this sister here. Guys, check it out, Faye. We got people here from around the world, all over Facebook, LinkedIn, X. I love you guys. As you guys see, man, it's, you never know. It's one story over here on this podcast that can change somebody's entire life. That moment, that breakthrough, that whisper, that sign that you guys are looking for. So, wow, man, I'm telling you, we're going to have to do this more often, Janice. People are fired up over here. Wow, guys. And I want to take a quick second. Just, you guys know me, I never do sponsorships or commercials on the show, but from time to time, I like to do a plug. So today I want to give a shout out. Since we're talking about women, I have a lot of women coming to me from real estate that have been laid off over here in the Bay Area. And I've been mentoring women for free to start their own agency and becoming a wealth coach. So I want you guys to check it out. Go on disruptors.tv. If you've been laid off, if you're good with sales, if you love helping people, I want you guys to go to disruptors.tv. Watch a quick video there and then get on our calendar. We can do an interview, you guys, and discuss. I have a lot of incredible women doing incredible numbers, working with us on a monthly basis, serving Americans, helping them protecting their cash, helping them with insurance needs, retirement needs. So big emphasis that I'm putting there. employing and helping women, not just women, but men. Mostly women are coming to me for that right now. A lot of people being laid off here in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and they cannot find another job that can make 150, 250,000 a year. So I've been helping them out, kind of making that. And if you guys are struggling with your retirement, with your 401k, and your money isn't growing, check it out, disruptorscode.com. I teach a lot of things about growing your money tax-free, withdrawing it tax-free, and transferring tax-free, the same way how Ray Kroc was able to save McDonald's. He borrowed money against his policies to be able to pay his employees. The same way how Walt Disney, people made fun out of him, and he sold his house, borrowed money from his IOL, and then was able to fund and go on with Disneyland. A lot of people, they don't know those things. So shout out. Today we're doing a self-sponsoring disruptorscode.com. Right now, we are back at the show. All right. What a great, great conversation, my friend Janice. You talk about, this is a big, breaking free from people pleasing. Some of you guys listening to us now, drop it in below if you are guilty. Just type in guilty. If you've been doing, I'm guilty. I'm guilty big time. And what was your wake up call, Janice? Like that wake up call moment where you literally, like, you realize you had to, stop living for others. You know me with my whistle and cards. What was that moment that you gave yourself the red card? And you know what? Enough is enough. I'm done with this shit. I'm not going to be people pleasing. I don't care who it is. My spouse, even though today's Valentine, today we're recording this live on February 14th. What was that wake up moment for you that you're like, enough is enough? You literally red carded yourself and you go, I'm done with this bullshit. Sorry, my friend.
How ironically appropriate that it's Valentine's Day. And my moment was actually in my marriage.
Wow.
Where we'd been married 14 years, 2 kids, and my ex-husband had changed his belief system a lot. And when I got married, was very much like, I'm married forever. Will submit to my husband. I will be a good wife. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. So that was the road that I was on. And he just had a change in his belief system. And we got married really young. He was 19, I was 20, and he just wanted something different sexually, basically. And so for a while, I tried to do things that he wanted to do that were actually outside of my value system and my personal belief system. But because I was so attached to him and a people pleaser and wanting his validation and not wanting to create conflict, I would do these things that I didn't ultimately feel good about, that didn't really resonate with me. And so after a couple of years of living that way, I was in so much pain, like I said, emotionally, and I kept hearing this voice, you need to let him go. Let him go. You need to let him go. And even after hearing that voice that I knew was a message for me that was true and accurate, it still took me, I think, 6-7 months to actually even say, I think we need to separate. We need to break this off. So that was where I couldn't do it anymore. I realized I'm a shell of a person. I don't respect myself. I don't know which way is up. I remember thinking that, like, here's the floor, but maybe that's the ceiling. But no, it's probably the floor. So at that moment, I realized something is deeply broken here in me. And I was really good for a pretty long time at blaming my ex-husband, blaming my dad, blaming the church. I was raised very fundamentalist Christian, and my parents were missionaries in Mexico, all that kind of stuff. And when I realized that blaming made me feel a little bit better in the moment, but ultimately just got me all riled up and like pissed off and, and resentful, and there was nothing that was changing, that's when I decided, you know what? What if I stop blaming and just try to focus on the only thing that I can control, which is me, my thoughts, how I show up, what I do with my time, how I view other people, and that started my journey.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for being so open and talking about that. I bet you a lot of people over here listening right now, they might be going through that. As I brought it in earlier, a lot of people sometimes because of religion or how we are raised, religion wise, we take so long. We endure that abuse or we do things against our own beliefs and values, trying to please somebody. And I often tell people that, saying yes to everyone else is actually saying no to yourself. I want you guys to really think about this. Like, who are you really living for? Right? Let that sink in for a minute, ladies and gentlemen, because it's such a so happy that I know you play full out and bring because that can help. That can free a lot of women. So I can imagine how many women out there right now are going through this. They are stay-home moms. They've been out of work for whatever, right? 10, 14 years, 15, 20 years. And then they think, what am I going to do? I want you guys to know that there is hope. I want you guys to know that is AI technology out there. You can learn anything nowadays. Even if you don't have money, you can self-train yourself on any subject, any topic. You go on Google, you Google videos, you listen to my podcast. This is free. Look at the level of the people that we bring here on the show. Celebrities, billionaires, athletes, influencers like Janice. And you guys know me. I ask them tough questions. I try to bring the best out of them. I study them. I dig deep into the things that they do so I can ask them powerful questions that can serve you guys, that can leave you guys a little bit better today than what you were yesterday. Especially for the underdogs, the people that don't have money, the people that cannot afford. You guys know every single thing that I do, I think about, I work with both sides, the ultra wealthy and the extremely poor. That's why I put myself in danger ethics to go help people and handle cash. And I'm in South America sometimes, they try to get me because some of these people, are on farms down there, they invade my properties. We got to push them out and they try to set me up. We got to have bulletproof cars, right? And you're doing good for people, but the bad guys will try to get you and your family. I deal with kidnapping things in my family. They try to go after my family. So it's always new levels, new devils. But the point here, I want you guys really to think about what Janice just shared a powerful testimony here, because if you are that person, that woman, that lioness, just know there are people like Janice, like Carlos that care. All you have to do is to reach out. And you don't have to have money. There's plenty of things that you can do with AI. You can help local businesses. If you have a good background and if you like sales, reach out to me. I'm always looking for great women to mentor. And people love to talk about their retirement and money with women. You can make 5, 10, 20 grand a month working from home, raising your children, homeschooling them if that's your thing. I like women homeschooling my kids. So, wow, appreciate you, sister, for sharing that. And just for someone listening right now who's paralyzed by fear, they're listening to us, powerful testimony, and they still paralyzed by fear. Whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, or change, right? Right? Like you did, like you change. You're like, screw this, I'm changing everything. And what would be the first step, like something practical that you would tell that woman, that person struggling, even that man, that they can take today?
I would say speak it out loud. Speak it out loud to somebody that you trust, somebody that you admire, that you like the way that they're kind of living life. Speak it out loud, write it out, brain dump all that stuff out, because a lot of times we're carrying just this weight within us. And the speaking, the self-expression, we are meant to be creators and to really show up in that way. And so I would say the very first step is speaking it to somebody, or if you can't quite speak it yet, just start writing without really even thinking about what you're writing. Like there would be times I would sit at my computer and close my eyes and just type. And it was almost just this free flow of whatever was deep within me. And I would just think, nobody's going to see this. Nobody has to judge it. I don't even have to reread it if I don't want to, but just see where your fingers go and what is deep within you that needs to be healed. The second, well, I have this people-pleasing formula, and in that one, after awareness, the second step is to identify and heal emotional wounds. So that would be the path I would take first, is to see if you can find someone, or in meditation, asking yourself the right questions, and not why necessarily, but the how and the what questions, to really dig deeper and work through the emotional pain, work through those wounds with somebody that you trust.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Especially the journaling piece and the writing. I've done that for a long time myself, especially in my dark days, growing up as kids. And even over here in America, I talk about in my book, I was by myself and I would go door to door and see a lot of darkness out there on the streets. A lot of on the projects in US, like Boston, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, Florida, California. I've been to a lot of the dark areas. And you listen to these people. I was out there training people to sell cable and internet and home phone, and they open up their doors and they invite you in. People from the hood, from the block. You guys know how you guys are. You guys very inviting. Come on in. Let's grab some dinner. It's cold out there. And you're over here knocking doors. It's very into those streets. And they would open up, and you hear some, very crazy stories about fear. And that was on a daily basis, right? It becomes dark on those on the hood, and everybody's out. And there's a lot of crimes that happen, and a lot of people unfortunately pass away, casualties, especially in third world countries. People die every day. And
Carlos, I would add to that. I'm glad that you brought that up, because like the very first thing really that is always accessible, let's say somebody doesn't have someone to talk to for whatever reason, like I would say, close your eyes, go somewhere alone, just you, sit in stillness and just connect to the divine. Whatever that looks like for you, means to you, like there is hope out there. There is peace. There is love. And if we can sit and open our hearts to that, I believe that we will be shown the way. So I kind of changed my other answer to first say, close your eyes, sit in stillness and ask, and see what is revealed to you. And then talk to people, express, write it out, do all the things. But yeah, I would say that's the first
I
step.
love that. That's something so powerful, man. You hear many stories. I had an honor to meet and get to know Steve Jobs before he passed. I'm over here in Silicon Valley for over 20 years. And you guys know me. I've done a lot of sales and sales workshops, companies like Comcast, AT&T Broadband, Verizon, startups. And I love sales and marketing and branding. And, I kind of got to know Stevie, and he used to take off for weeks at a time and go to the mountains. And that's all he did. Just close his eyes and, look what he done with Apple. So, we have a few good examples. Even Zuckerberg. Shout out Zach. Some of you guys like it, don't like the guy. Zach is getting older. He started going to those mountains. A lot of the CEOs of companies that you guys are using their apps, buying their products, buying their food, they do that a lot. They get out there, but you guys maybe, because I don't have the money. Okay, you don't have to have the money to go to the mountains. You can go to the grass, go look for a tree around your neighborhood, sit down there, close your eyes, and just listen. It's something so simple, but it's so powerful, guys. Journaling, right? We had a Faye, she did a powerful testimony comment over here. She's like, I was so afraid of telling anyone about my depression for 20 years, afraid of what they would think. Then I got the courage to publish my poems. And now the whole world knows. It lifted so much off my shoulders. She's on her 80s, guys. Imagine going your entire life, worry about what other people think and their opinions. Are people loving to give us constructive criticism? They have constructed shit. Part of my, you know. So just stop. Don't be taking constructive criticism from other people that haven't done it. They haven't walked the talk. They haven't helped others, and they try to help you. You know, there's a bunch of hypocrites out there. Literally, just be around people like Janice, like myself. They've been out there. They walk the talk. They have the courage and say to express ourselves and to mentor others and document the process every single day because nobody can call us on. Because whatever Janice say or I say, we document it. You guys know me. Every stage that I go, every client that I help, I talk about them. I celebrate them. I tell them to text me so I can show their taxes improve. All the celebrities and the athletes, those are quick moments. I don't care about that because they only last a few seconds or a few minutes or 30 minutes on the stage, or you're doing a Q&A on a panel with these celebrities that you're watching on movies. Yeah, it's cool at first, but after a while, it's like I always tell people, don't let fame or money or how many commas is your bank account get to you. It's at the end of the day when it's between us and God. Even if you don't believe in God, what are you doing when nobody's watching, right? It doesn't have to be the crazy stuff that I do, go in the block, go in the hood and handle people cash. They are struggling. Or the moms, they are on the parking lot selling their tamales and their fruits that I go to them and I ask them, how much you're making today? $150. Okay, here's a couple of $100. Shout out to all my guests that have been on the show that love helping out and contributing and donating. You guys know I raise money and I go out there and I just hand it to people. We don't put on camera everything because nobody likes to put a camera on their face when you handle cash. I didn't want somebody to do that with my mom or I when I was out there. But from time to time, I put it so you guys can see me doing it. And I do it not to, oh, look at Carl. I do it to inspire you guys. I do it to inspire my friends out there that have podcasts, that have radio shows, that have TV shows, that you can leverage your influence, your following, and you can do initiatives like that. You don't have to go to the hood. You can raise money through different angles and you can donate it to the local chickens, to the local fire departments like we did in LA this past couple of weeks with the fire, right? There are different ways that we can help in our own communities without putting ourselves out there. I'm 6'5", 300 pounds, ex-military, highly trained in martial arts. So for me, it's easier to go in the hood and do those things. But for some people, you cannot do that. But you can find out, okay, here's all the local kitchens. They are serving the homeless, the veterans. Many of these people on the street, they are veterans that protect us. And now they're on the streets because corrupted, I'm not even going to get into governments, but the money's not getting to the streets, is not getting to do what it's supposed to do. And I'd be surprised if we audit the government one of these days where we will find. But don't even.
This is what you're saying right now is why good-hearted people like you need to make a lot of money. I mean, really, because it needs to be in hands of individual people that have the hearts to serve and to help. And so, yeah, that's why those good-hearted people out there that don't want to charge what you're worth because you feel like, yeah, let's get rid of that narrative, earn a lot of money so that then you in turn can do good work and help others.
For real, I tell so many CEOs and influential people, Janice, and celebrities and athletes that they got the Oscars, right? They got the gold, and now they want to kill themselves. And I tell them, you have no idea what you are doing. You have all this fame, all these followers. You can actually turn it around, put a little sunglass and a little hat, and go to your neighborhood. Find a few Carloses to be around you, because the big butts, And when we go there, and you go to a local kitchen place, cut some onion, and go prepare some soup and serve to the local people. It will give you a different perspective because you're in a big old mansion by yourself. You don't have any friends. You don't know who your friends are. And now you want to kill yourself. If you kill yourself, what do you think is going to happen to the teenagers and the adults? They are listening to you. They love you. They respect you. They're going to think it's acceptable to quit when shit hits the fan. And right now, the shit's been hitting the fan since COVID for a lot of people. All this, especially in LA, like the studio shut down, anything to do with the entertainment industry, these people still recovering. I lost so many friends. And sometimes, why don't you pick up the phone and just call? And like Janice said, just stop. Just get out there. If you guys been cooped up for a long time, get out there. Go on meetup.com and see what's happening in your city right now. I tell people all the time, you're struggling to connect, to find business owners and to find clients. Go look it up at a local meetup in your city. Right now, go do a meetup yourself. Carlos, the fear. Remember Janice's story? If you are fearful of doing your own meetup, go over there, meetup.com, create an account, do a meetup. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about emotional intelligence. Let's talk about branding. Let's talk about sales. Whatever your superpowers are. Divorced moms who are tired to dealing with a piece of shit. Whatever the stuff, just guys, this is golden advice here. You do that, now you become the go-to person in your city, in your town, for that particular SEO, that subject. You become a subject matter expert because you're taking the initiative. I don't care if one person showed up. That was Carlos 20 years ago doing events at hotels and stuff. Two people there, my mom and the janitor. Hey, let's go. And then fast forward, stadiums, 10,000, 30,000, 5,000. Speaking at the Oscars, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. But what's even cooler? It's when you show up in the neighborhood and you get that smile from the veteran that you show up and you bring in some food, a blanket, a hat. And inside that hat of that blanket, it's a few $100. Here, bro, we'll get a hotel. Right? That's way better than the 5-minute fame on that stage or that Photoshop with all those guys. You see all that. A bunch of people nowadays, right? They Photoshopping things, right? In an airplane with a celebrity, in a car. And when you dig deeper in their background, you cannot find shit. It's like, I trust me, you guys know me. I call people out all the time. You are so cool, show me, don't tell me. But I don't want to go there. You guys, you got me fired up, Dennis. But Jennifer, what so you walk through fears like marathons, bodybuilding, stand-up comedy, and even walking the Camino de Santiago. How do these challenges translate into everyday life and business?
So it is for me about building that courage muscle. I view it very similar to somebody who goes to the gym because you want to work on your actual physical muscles. It's a choice to build the courage muscle. So what I do is I kind of look at my year and then intuitively I'll know, or like at the spin class, somebody mentioned something about the bodybuilding and I had that thought like, wow, I need to do this. And so I'll set like this goal that elicits a lot of fear in me. And then I kind of reverse engineer, as they call it, and go, okay, what baby steps do I have to take? What do I have to do consistently to then show up and do the activity, do whatever the thing is? And that's kind of how I structure the thing. So with a marathon, for instance, it's okay, I'm going to do a marathon. That's terrifying because I remember running around the block and feeling that side cramp thing and going, there's just not enough air. I don't even know how to breathe through this. Like, how do people run for this amount of time? It's impossible. I had these thoughts. But then I'm looking at people that actually run marathons and I go, well, obviously it's not impossible. These people are doing it. And so then I said, okay, I'm going to join a training group. That was the thing. Speak it out loud. Join the training group. And then let me tell you, getting up at 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings to go for your practice runs like 3 or 4 months in a row isn't the most comfortable thing. But once you have that mindset, you know what your fear, your goal, end goal is. You know why you're doing it because you're building your courage muscle. You're getting stronger. And there's so many other benefits too, but let's just take that for now. Like you're just getting stronger in that realm, in that regard. And then you take the steps. Every day it's a decision. I got to wake up. They're waiting for me. It's accountability. They're going to be out there. They're going to be like, where's Janice? Janice isn't here. Janice, what's going on? And then you do the thing and you show up the day of and you just give it your all. You do your best for that moment, whatever that looks like. And I remember running, it was probably mile like 15 or something, just running. I look over and there is a blind man with his stick and 2 guides next to him running this marathon. And I just start bawling. I'm bawling because I'm thinking, what has been your excuse? Like the limiting beliefs that you can't do it. You don't have an injury. You're fairly athletic. Like, really? And here's a blind man who has made the intentional choice to get out there and live his damn life. And I just like, yeah, it was such an impactful moment for me as I'm running along, just going, wow. And not in a wow, like, Janice, you suck, because that's another thing. We got to get off this self judgment, hate, tearing ourselves down, but more of a noticing, like an awareness of, oh my goodness, I was holding myself back just internally with my belief system. And how cool is it that now I can shift and I can choose to show up a different way and I can change that belief?
Wow. You just, you gave me so many memories here as you were talking about this. We started talking about the marathon. You guys know me. I used to train people to go door to door, ex-prisoners, ex-gangsters in Boston, when I started. And you guys know in Boston, they have the Boston Marathon. And I have so many friends that run that. And I remember talking to them after that event many, many years ago. They even made a movie about the bombs that went through the marathon. Have you ever run the Boston Marathon before?
No, I'm not that good. I'm like a one and done fear. I've done one marathon and I'm good.
No, no worries. But I talked to a lot of my friends that done it, and they wouldn't do it again. And I say, no, let's face those fears. And then I would tell them stories of me. Like, sometimes they'll come back home from work selling their bread. The gangsters, they will shoot each other because, different bodies, and they want to dominate, they control those streets. And, my grandma always said, just drop on the floor, son. Drop their bike, drop on the floor, play dead, stay there. You hear those bullets, you think about fireworks. And that's what I did. And I closed my eyes and I prayed and I just say, it's fireworks, it's fireworks, it's fireworks, it's fireworks. Until I was done. And then I waited for a while and I'll just get up and hop on my bicycle and I will do it all over again. And, and I told my friends about the run the Boston Marathon. You can do it. You can do it. You're going to run it, you're going to finish. And in God's name, it's not going to happen again. Even though we cannot predict, but, it's not going to happen again. If you focus on that, it's not going to happen again. If you focus on that, you can do it. Like Jen saw the blind men running around her. I remember when I used to do capoeira heavily back in the day. One of my buddies in the military had no arms, no legs. He was the capoeirista. And for some of people, capoeira is a Brazilian martial art. Some people call it a dance. It's a martial art origin from Brazil and Africa. And, you guys probably remember the song, Paranawe, Paranawe, Parana. So it's very powerful martial arts, but you combine with other martial arts like jiu-jitsu, judo, and I feel Muay Thai, it makes you even better because they don't know what you're going to attack. You can fake it, go right and go left. Also help with wrestlers. So it's a very powerful martial arts. And this gentleman, this military friend of mine, was a big boy like me, but he didn't have from here, those arms, only have this part. Same thing with his legs. Only have a portion from the knee down, gone, both sides exploded. And a capoeirista, and every time I'm over there, we are playing, or there will be an event, and that we are eating food. He's like that, fixing his food with no arms, And I'm Carlos, ready? Let's go, baby. Let's let the food go down and let's go back. Let's go practice. And I'm like, I couldn't have an excuse. When I would see that code, my body was hurting. I don't like taking pills and medicine. I'm like, all right, let's go. I expect I'm breaking my record 30 minutes in the ice bath. Let's go. Hot spring, let's freaking go. Whatever it is, oh yeah, we gotta go. Yeah, Carlos, we're gonna have to go to Africa. Working on this call, there's a bunch of gangsters. We're gonna go on SUVs and we're just gonna pray that those bulletproof windows and armors are strong enough. You just do it. I wouldn't take my children, but I'll go. But again, it doesn't have to be extreme. It's like the moral here, guys, of this entire show today is what is that one fear, right? Because how you do one thing, you do everything. And if you can master that fear in one year, just like Janice Burt talking, one fear per year, you can master on all areas. Just think about that for a second. If you just master one area right now that's bothering you, whatever that is, you think you lost your mojo, in management, in sales, as a speaker, as a coach, as a therapist, as a doctor, as whatever you do, you just stack on that one thing. Whatever, or you fear to be rejected over the phone. People talk all the time about, I don't like to be on the phone or call people. How are you going to get clients? If you don't have money, you got to invest in advertising. Even or you can, start doing like I do it, start applying to speak on more stages. Now you can gather credibility and authority much faster, and now people come to you. But again, even for that, you have to go learn how to apply, get rejected, and be okay in being rejected. Not that you're not good, it's that because maybe they have 1,000 people applying it, and they already happen to feel that topic that you speak about, right? But there is things that you can do, come back on the second way around, follow these people on social media. Who are the decision makers, the HRs, the people that are organizing events in your subject matter? Every city around this country in the US, every weekend there are events happening right now. Some local hotel right now, I bet you can go visit 3 hotels. Is any events happening here this weekend? Show up there. Go find out who's putting those events together. Hey, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a subject matter expert. Let me be your MC. Let me move the chairs for you. Let me check the idea of the people coming to the building. Right? What are you willing to do that's uncomfortable that's going to take it to another level? I used to do that. I remember bothering people in Silicon Valley. Hey, let me come in and do a sales workshop. I come in for free, and then you tell me how much am I worth the next time. No, 30 times. 31st time, Janice. Oh, Carlos, you bugged me enough. Come on over. But again, mouth closed. How far are you willing to go without a paycheck? Little Carlos selling bread, 50 cents a day for 10 years. Janice putting up 14 years, right? But then eventually we say enough is enough. We can do it. And look at her now. Successful. She's over here playing full out with us. Imagine how many women listen to the show will be like, you know what? Thank you that both of you showed up and did that episode. Because now this is live. This is recorded. We're going to take this one to the grave. These people can listen to this like they listen to Napoleon Hill and be like, damn, those two, they showed up. I want you guys to type in your breakthrough here below. I want you guys to reach out to Janice and to me and hey, you know what? I did it. I faced it. I don't get to 6 months, a year from now, and let us know how did this episode help you out. Remember, guys, even the strongest warriors, my lioness friends out there listening to me, my gladiator brothers, we always still feel fear. But you know what the difference between Janice, myself, many of the people that I mentor, that I help out there, is that they fly away. You know what I mean? We all fight away from those fears. We still feel them, but we fight anyway. We go through it. You guys know that what you go through, you grow through it. My friend Janice, before we end the show, wow, whole hour, wow, just incredible. Let us know what is the best place that they can follow up with you, they can message you, letting them know how they overcome some of these fears. They can ask you questions. Where do you hang out the most? Whether it's on social media or on your website, what is the best place that they can reach out to you, my sister?
Sure. Before I give you that information, I just want anybody listening to know that you are more powerful than you know. You are amazing and beautiful and strong and full of love. And if one thing that I'm learning right now is that one of my missions or purpose that I have on earth is just to encourage people. It's something I feel deep in my soul. And so I just want you all to know how brilliantly terrific and wonderful you are. And you can find me at janiceburt.com. And my Facebook is currently suspended. I think somebody tried to hack in or something. But Janice Burt for all the things, and Spanish Janice on Instagram. And I would love to connect.
Yes, guys, follow my sister. That's why it's so important, right? To have your sites, have text messages, email lists, so that if something ever happens, it's a bunch of bad apples. They hacked into my Instagram years ago. To this day, my Instagram is all jacked up. I got it back. The car was inspired, but it screwed up the entire algorithm. And that's why I'm big in telling people, build your email list, build your text list, so that when something happens, you're able to let people know. And, people will try to duplicate Janice, myself, act like us, but we're never going to message you asking for money. That's for sure. We're never going to message you. It's like, be careful, and guys, check it out. Janice Burt, B as in boy, URT as in tango. Follow her. message her, say hi, tell us that you saw her here at the carlosinspireshow.com. I appreciate you, sister. And the final question of the day, it's 70 years from now, you are 100 years old. And your best friend, one of your loved ones, are going to be reading your eulogy. And they're going to say, Janice Burt walks, dot, dot, dot. In your own words, who was Janice Burt?
Janice Burt was a soul in a human body who, with every bit of gumption within her, loved and chose the path of least resistance, chose a path of growth, and her legacy is truly that of self-acceptance, love, authenticity, and leaning into the powerful voice of the divine.
Wow. I love it. I love it. The suspense at the beginning, that pause. I love it. Wow, my friend. Such an honor, Jennifer. I knew we were going to have such a great time here today. Definitely another incredible episode, guys. That all of us that were here live, I see a bunch of people here live with us that for the entire time. You guys didn't even went to the restroom. That's amazing. We were all going to take this episode to the grave. Thank somebody else. This is going to serve so many people. I know that we'll get a few thousand downloads, but let's break some records. Let's get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Thank somebody here right now that you guys are live. Drop a comment below. You guys have no idea how much one like, one comment, and when Janice and I go and we reply back to you guys, all those things that helps reset the algo, shows that to more people, because you guys never know whose life will save here today. You never know whose life is gonna say enough is enough, where they're gonna end the those fears, the trauma, that suffering that they've been enduring for so long. And you just never know what that woman that will step into her plate, into her power, and we will empower so many more women. Imagine how many little Genesis are out there, and they're teens, or they've been through trafficking, or they overcome some tremendous, even they gave up. And then they hear her story. You know what? It's not going to happen to me again. And then you become the person that you wanted to see in the mirror. And you become that leader, that woman. And now you're on stages around the world. You're on podcasts and radio shows, and you're speaking life into others. And you bring your A game, just like Janice did here today. Such an inspiring episode, my sister. I mean, any last words? I'm just very thankful for you bringing the heat. And you got me fired up and going through the memory lane in this episode. But any final words, my sister?
I just want to say, Carlos, I respect and admire you so much. And let's all of us just keep showing up in the world, making a difference. Like you were saying, encouraging people to continue, first of all, in this life, and then really thriving and walking through fears and helping their fellow man and coming together peacefully as a community, as a country, as a world. We can do this. We can do this united and full of love.
Yes. I call United States of the world. I know together we can do more, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate the sister, man. You guys don't do the real, man. Just keep bringing it, fellas. And ladies and gentlemen, gladiators and lionesses, you got this. We love you. As I always say, right? Happy Valentine's Day again. Love is all that is. Love is all that was. And love is always that will always ever be, because the days that bring.
Let's go.